As I was visiting a church member in the hospital one time, the man in the other bed in the room called over to me and asked if I was Tim Pippas, the guy who writes the article in the newspaper. And I said that I was. He told me that he read the newspaper article every week and then started chatting with me as if he'd known me all my life. I had never met this man before, and so I started asking him about himself, and it turns out that he wasn't from Estevan originally. So I asked how he came to Estevan, what he did with his life, and how many kids he had, and why he was in the hospital, and all those sorts of things. I had a really pleasant conversation with him. It was really, really nice. For about 45 minutes, we just kind of sat there and got to know each other, and it was really kind of fun. And then the gentleman's wife came in, and she seemed really pleasant too. He introduced me to her, and I asked her about her life and where she was born and blah, blah, blah. And we had this great big talk too, and it was very pleasant and very good. And then I turned back to the person that I was actually there to visit with, and the gentleman turned to his wife and became a complete jerk. Like he was snippy and rude and just treated his wife like garbage. In turn, she talked back to him in snippy, rude, sarcastic, ignorant comments. As I stood there, I couldn't believe what was going on. Here are these two people that just treated me so kindly and were so open and so generous and so nice. And then when they started speaking to each other, they just turned nasty. Now, that may not make much of a story if it were an isolated incident, but since that time, I've kind of paid attention to that a little bit, and it seems to happen a lot more than you would expect. It seems like we can be really nice to other people, but really, really ignorant to those who are closest to us. I don't know if that's because we think they just have to accept it. They're not going to go anywhere. We don't have to try so hard because we're already their spouse or their child or their whatever. But it's strange. And if you pay attention, I'm sure you will see that too. Full confession time, if you paid attention to my life, you'd probably hear me doing it to Sarah as well. Maybe not so much anymore, though. Because I've made a concerted effort to try not to do that, because it is easy. It is easy to be rude to your children. It is easy to be rude to your spouse. It is easy to be rude to your friends. It is easy to take others for granted when they're close to you. But that shouldn't be, right? In Philippians chapter 4, verse 5, the Apostle Paul, just in a bunch of general statements, says this: "Let your gentleness be evident to all." If anyone should see the most gentle, kind, loving, considerate side of you, it should be those who are closest to you, shouldn't it? It should be those you love the most, not complete strangers. Can we be people who treat those closest to us the best? Sarah and I have an older couple that we admire. I won't tell you who they are, but every once in a while we watch how they talk, we watch how they interact, we watch how they treat each other, and we've never seen them do anything other than treat each other kindly. And it's been a great example to us. In fact, every once in a while we will say to each other, how would so-and-so and so-and-so react to one another in this situation? We hold them up as an example because they're just gentle with each other. My challenge to myself today and my challenge to you today is very simply this: can we let our gentleness be evident to all, to everyone we meet, but in particular to those we love the most? If this video is helpful to you, please consider subscribing. If you think it might be helpful to someone else, pass it on. That's what it's here for. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.